let me know how far he clicked in there. Now, Mr. Seller, this is exactly what you want to go back to the seller and say, Mr. Seller, I have assigned your property so that you can see the competition in your area. You won't have to drive around anymore, pull out a flyer and call me to get the information on it. It will be reported to you every morning the day after it's been listed. Wow, even if the sign isn't completely there, it's in the MLS, so you're going to get information on that property. Wow, even quicker than sometimes waiting for the flyer stands. So, what I'd like you to do is, if you're curious to know what the property has, you can click in there, it'll give you all of the information. Now, Mr. Seller, that doesn't mean that everything in your area is going to pop out. If something that you're curious about is not on that report, I will encourage my seller to use his quick search. Okay? And I will tell him, and in the quick search, you can actually search by street name to find out what something is selling for. Again, encouraging the seller to come back into the system so he tells me the rest of the story. Because sometimes they'll be watching a house that's way far away, overpriced, and they think that they should have been priced at that and that you're not marketing it just like they would have. Okay? So it's a great way for you guys to have that dialogue. And also if they decided to buy something somewhere else. Now, so that was scenario one. I have a seller with a listing currently that I'd like him to get a report. So I went into the client manager, I found their folder, I clicked on the seller services, and I assigned the property. That was easy to do, right? Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of the times we get people who might be interested in selling their house in the future. How do we suffice them? We want to treat them just like we would a seller. So, if I had somebody in my system, and I'm going to change it to Heather's view. Heather's my partner, by the way. Did you guys see that? I just changed it into her inventory. And let's say Sherry Campbell said that if she found her dream home in the next 3 weeks, she'd like to sell her house a month from now. Put it on the market. Well, Sherry, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and assign your property so that you can now start to see what the market's doing in your neighborhood. Okay? So now I'm going to take her and actually create her as a prospective seller. Now, I called my title company, you guys will get a kick out of this one, just to make sure that she really is the owner of that property. That's never happened to any of us, right? Somebody's smiling over here. And my title rep came back and told me she had 2 other properties other than that one property that we were talking about. So she is a homeowner of 3. That means she's an investor. Now watch how I will now rope her in to make sure that she knows I can work with her investment properties as well. I'm going to log in and it's going to say assign a property to her. Now I don't have the listing yet, correct? So if I scroll down to the bottom of this page where it says enter any address, I'm going to click on that button. I'm going to enter her address. And I will give her information about what's going on with her home. So by the time I get there, guess what? Price is not an issue anymore. That could be secondary to her telling me that every house that came on the market in her neighborhood had remodeled bathrooms and hers was not remodeled. Wow, that's a little different, isn't it? Now we don't have to discuss, do I guess the right price or not guess the right price? She's going to be telling me what price to price it at. But here's the best part. Once you tell her what kind of property type it is, this estimated price will never show to your client. Okay? So this is your little secret. You still get to drive your seller to a market price that you want them to get close to, so that they're just not all over the place. So I know for a fact that this 900 square foot bungalow house in that neighborhood will not sell for what the house around the corner is going to sell for. Well, they're hoping it sells for. It's actually listed at 1.4 million. There's no way. Okay, that was an overbuilt house on a corner lot that will never sell for that price. We root for them, but it won't happen. Everything in her price range is between $699 and $750. So I'm going to go ahead and put in $710 because I want it to be a 20% high or low of that, or I can change it to 25. Okay. The system will then go and pinpoint her property on the map. There it is. And then it's going to give me that square radius smile that we talked about, right? Well, I know that she lives in the woods. You guys have the trees around here. We have the woods. I'm going to extend it out, send it over, create my little square, maybe move it up just a little bit more so she's not on Venice Boulevard. I'm going to click save. And tomorrow morning she will now start to get a report of what's being sold in her area. Prospective seller. Now, one other group falls into the prospective seller. Anyone here sold a property in the last 3 years? You know, I could do this in some rooms in that book. No. We all have, right? Maybe let's just say, hopefully we all have. We have a buyer that we got into a house and we played turtle. We didn't want them to know that we know what the prices are really going for. So other agents have been feeding them information. In fact, I got this great idea from a top producing agent who lost her friend who she helped move into a house a year before, and the listing agent decided to give him an account with listingbook so that he could see what the neighborhood was doing and get a CMA. So now he felt obligated to give business to the other agent, even though that agent wasn't his what? Friend. So any past buyers you have, assign their property, because what we also have noticed, people will call us up and say, my buyer who I just closed now looks in listingbook more than they ever did before. Folks, they get buyer's remorse. And if they're not asking you, it's because they're embarrassed to, but they're asking everyone else. So give them a chance to keep looking without you losing them as a client through listingbook. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. You tell them, look, now I'm going to be like a stockbroker. Sometimes we're high, sometimes we're low, but you're going to be able to keep track of what the value of your home is. Okay? Now you take that weight off of your shoulders saying, you're going to make money. We know that we don't have a crystal ball to real estate. Let them see what you see and let them figure it out for themselves. Okay? So, now remember, I told you that my title rep came back and told me that this person had owned, what, 2 more properties, correct? So what I can do is I can go in there and assign a second or a third property to these people. And say, by the way, when your property profile came back, because I wanted to make sure I had the square footage and all that rest of the stuff so I can create a CMA for you, it came back and told me that you had 2 other properties in the city. Good for you. So I took the liberty and I assigned your properties to you so that you can also keep track of the value of those homes. Why, thank you. Because they like to see what the value of their homes are. And again, this is a new tool. So again, you may take the liberty or you may ask, would you like me to go ahead and set up your investment properties as well? Okay, so I can come down here, just like I said before, enter any address. I'll put in the street. This one happens to be on Maple. I'm so creative. It's a single family. And again, this one, I'd actually bring up the price because she's done work to it. Hit continue. And that was it. Now I would run back to my MLS, probably create a CMA off of there and find the median price so that I can come in here and put that in. Okay, folks? Did you guys see how easy that was? Mm-hmm. Now they start to get a report every morning on the area. And again, I can switch this up, change that around, and then hit save. Put that pinpoint somewhere else. And it's going to tell me how many it has there. It's pretty easy to do. Now, again, going back to the front page and showing you my listings, we're going to talk about that. Do you see where it says residential? I'm going to click on that. Again, it's going to show you your listings, and I wanted to talk about those listing activity reports. A couple of things that you may want to take with you to open houses. What's sold in the area, have a printout for them. Custom flyer, you want to do your community information. You want to do your loan report on the back of your flyers. The community information, again, is a great way, and I tell everybody, if you put it in a binder, put some plastic on it because they'll try to walk off with it. Best thing for you to do is, if you'd like a copy, please make sure you give me your email so I can set you up on your listingbook account. If you'd like a copy, please make sure you give me your email. I'll set you up on a listingbook account. It's a great way, again, to ask for that email without asking directly. Any questions? You guys are a quiet group. Yes.
Question. On your area, for our area, because that seems like it doesn't